Hello everyone, this is Teacher Tess and welcome to our video lesson for today.
In this video lesson, we are going to discuss the elements of poetry. Our lesson objectives in this lesson are: identify the different elements of poetry, distinguish the different types of poetry according to their elements, and recognize the author's purpose in writing poetry. Unlocking consent vocabulary. Unscramble the letters to identify the word being described. Are you ready? Let's begin. Are you done with your answers? If yes, let us check your word. Number 1, it is a perspective of the speaker in the poem. The correct answer is point of view. Number 2, it is the reason why an author writes. The correct answer is purpose. Next, number 3, literary genre that makes authors express themselves and their feelings and ideas mostly through rhyme and rhythm. The correct answer is poetry. Next, number 4, the manner how something is said or performed. The correct answer is delivery. And last, number 5, has something to do with how long or how short an object is. And the correct answer is length. Did you get all the correct answers? Very good. Let us recall the meaning of poetry. It is a literary genre that makes authors express themselves and their feelings and ideas mostly through rhyme and rhythm. Elements of poetry. Point of view. It is one of the basic elements of literature that help us understand how a work of literature communicates meaning to the reader. In poetry, it is what the speaker, narrator, or character can see from their perspective. There are 3 types of point of view. The first is first-person point of view. This is the most easily recognized kind of point of view, as it uses first-person pronouns like I, me, and mine. Example of a poem that uses first-person point of view. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabelle. The next is second-person point of view. This is the least used of the 3 kinds of perspective. It uses pronouns like you, yours, and your. Example, if you think of the dark as a black fork and the moon as a bounce ball, then there's nothing to be frightened of at all. The last type of point of view is the third-person point of view. This is quite popular as it allows the writer to convey ideas, experiences, and beliefs from multiple perspectives. This uses pronouns like she, he, and they. Example, out of the church she followed them, with a lofty step and mien. His bride was like a village maid, Maud Clare was like a queen. Second element of poetry is length. In poetry, length refers to the duration or extent of a poem, which can be considered in various ways, such as line length, stanza length, form and structure, and overall length. A short poem might focus intensely on a single idea or image, while a longer poem can explore themes in more depth or detail. Length in poetry is not just about the physical measurements. It also affects the pacing, flow, and emotional impact of the poem. Here is an example of a short poem, Dreams by Langston Hughes. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. The third element of poetry is delivery. In poetry, delivery refers to the way a poem is presented and conveyed, whether through reading, singing, recitation, or performance. Delivery is integral to poetry because it brings the written word to life, shaping how the poem's meaning, mood, and nuance are experienced by listeners or readers. And the last element of poetry is purpose. The purpose of a poem refers to the poet's intent or the underlying reason for writing the piece. It shapes the poem's content, style, and form, and can influence how readers or listeners interpret and engage with the work. The author's purpose in poetry could be expression of emotion, storytelling, social commentary that includes persuasion, reflection, and insight that also serve to inform. Here is an example of a poem that expresses an emotion. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Here is an example of a poem that tells a story. Once upon a midnight rearing, while I pondered weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Example of a poem that persuades. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minutes with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Here is an example of a poem that informs the readers. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Types of poetry. There are three types of poetry. The first is lyric poetry. This is characterized by its focus on expressing personal emotions, thoughts, and reflections, often from the perspective of the speaker. This type of poetry emphasizes the individual's inner experience and emotional state. The next type of poetry is dramatic poetry. Dramatic poetry is a form of poetry that is written to be performed rather than just read. It often involves dialogue and monologue, where characters express their thoughts and emotions in a dramatic manner. And the last type of poetry is narrative poetry. Narrative poetry is a type of poetry that tells a story. It has a plot, characters, and a setting, much like a short story or novel. It uses poetic techniques such as meter, rhyme, and imagery to convey its tale. Now here is the comparison of the three types of poetry: lyric, dramatic, and narrative according to the elements of poetry such as point of view, length, delivery, and purpose. Lyric poetry. Point of view, personal, first person. Length is short and simple. Delivery, usually sung with accompaniment of lyrics. And the purpose is for self-expression and deals with emotion. Dramatic poetry. Point of view. Speaks through the character's interaction. Speaker could be a character. Length is long and elaborate. Delivery is recited, spoken, chanted, and sung. While the purpose tells a story and connects through the help of emotions and feelings of characters. Narrative poetry. Point of view. First person, as a narrator and or let the characters speak for themselves. Length is also long and elaborate. Delivery, recited, spoken, chanted, and sung. And purpose, tells a story. Exercise. Read the following questions and choose the letter of the best answer. Are you done with your answers? If yes, let us see if they are correct. Number 1. Which literary form uses expressive language to evoke emotions, convey ideas, and create aesthetic experiences? The correct answer is letter C, poetry. Number 2. Which of the following refers to the perspective from which a story or poem is narrated? The correct answer is letter C, point of view. Number 3. What type of poetry tells a story? The correct answer is letter C, narrative. Next, number 4. Which of the following is not a type of poetry? The correct answer is letter D, prose. And number 5, which point of view is quite popular because it allows the writers convey ideas from multiple perspectives? The correct answer is letter C, third person. Did you get all the correct answers? Great job! This ends our lesson about elements of poetry. Hope you learned something and hope to see you again in my next videos.
Again, this is Teacher Tess saying thank you for watching. Have a great day.